Solitude is such a potential thing. We hear voices in solitude we never hear in the hurry and turmoil of life. We receive counsel and comforts we get under no other condition. Fidelity is one of the largest private companies in the world. It's controlled by the Johnson family and has $11.8 trillion under management. Fidelity has a lot of power and influence in the world of finance. Abigail Johnson is the new CEO of Fidelity after her father, Ned, retired.
So I would start off by saying, this is an industry, personally, I find it fascinating, but it's also become an area that's just, if you're like me and you have a day job, trying to keep up with it is really, really hard. So I feel like I'm not nearly as well informed about everything that's going on in the industry, which is just, super exciting. And right now, some of these distributed finance capabilities are really, this is an area that has been talked about from early on, but it's really starting to pick up. And, things like the Lightning Network that we're going to help facilitate that are actually starting to become reality. But at the same time, I think in terms of bringing the world along on digital currencies in general, what we're really, from a commercial perspective, putting our efforts around is trying to connect the legacy world with the future of digital currency.
FIS is a payment software company. They were purchased by Fidelity in 2003 and were renamed to Fidelity Information Services. FIS is the software Fidelity uses. The $10 trillion under management flows through FIS software. 95% of the world's leading banks run on FIS software. When you purchase a cup of coffee or you invest in a 401k, you're likely using FIS software.
So right now, our custody business around Bitcoin has been incredibly successful. We've got a tremendous pipeline, and it's been really exciting to watch. And if you had asked me in the beginning if we or anybody was going to be prioritizing custody of Bitcoin, I would have said, no way. That's kind of the opposite of what it's all about. But the reality is that you do need it, because if you're an individual who engages an advisor and you want to make an estate plan, you actually need somebody to custody your Bitcoin, just as a simple example.
Fidelity is a private company owned by FMR LLC, which is the Johnson family. In 2016, there were accusations that the Johnsons had a separate venture capital arm that purchased Ultragenyx Pharmaceuticals. Then the larger Fidelity company bought the equity a while later, causing the price of the stock to increase with America's retirement. The venture capital fund F Prime Capital bought the shares at $3.55, while Fidelity, which is managing the average Joe's retirement, came in and bought at $41.17. F Prime made $128 million, or 1,000%. There are no repercussions from this conflict of interest. The SEC did nothing.
So building those on and off ramps around facilitating trading between fiat currency and cryptocurrency is something that's happening now, and I'm glad it's moving along. And so you kind of have those two ends of the spectrum, the connecting to the legacy world and the really new advanced thinking that's going on. So
Abigail wants to bridge the crypto world and the traditional world. She doesn't have a board of shareholders to answer to. The Johnsons run Fidelity and she's the CEO. She's excited about crypto and manages $11 trillion. Fidelity has offered Bitcoin IRAs, and FIS has a ripplenet integration. Half of the world's wealth flows through FIS. And FIS offers a payment solution that has Ripple as a module, meaning if you're using FIS software, you could plug and play ripplenet. The initial integration was just xCurrent. xCurrent is no longer a product, it's just ripplenet. That includes ODL and Crypto Liquidity Hub. Ripple chose to make the software that did not include crypto assets. It's like a Trojan horse. They use ripplenet because it's cheaper and faster, and as time progresses, they start expanding to the XRP ledger.
It's pretty exciting. It's just become more than I can really feel like I can be an expert on anymore. But I'm really happy that I have a really vibrant community at Fidelity of people who are living and breathing and working on this full time. And we've got a lot of good momentum as a business, which is really exciting. And that's really what I sought to achieve when we moved into this. So I'm really happy about that.
Fidelity has front run in the past, and Abigail's bullish stance in the world of crypto is very telling. She sees the future and is in a position to realize this future.
The industry can really play a bridge role because we've got this established business, but how can we bridge the old and old and new worlds? Because how do you get to the new world when everybody's already in the old world? If you wait for everybody to make kind of a native transition, well, then you're talking about fundamentally kind of a generational change, and I think we want to go faster than that. So we have to connect the two. And this was the 401k example turned out to be kind of neat and tidy and worked out well.
Fidelity offers mutual funds, IRAs, life insurance, their stock brokerage, they offer wealth management. Their revenue last year was $24 billion. They're a large and influential company, so much so that Senator Warren wrote a letter to Abigail about offering Bitcoin into people's retirements. This massive institution has been experimenting with crypto since 2015. They've created infrastructure, exchanges, institutional custodianship, NFT marketplaces. They've invested in companies. They are very much involved with the digital asset industry. Since 2007, Fidelity has spent $2 million each year lobbying Congress.
Some of the other ones are harder. I mean, if you think about the brokerage business, on one hand, you think, well, as an individual, I'd like to experience my crypto assets alongside my other assets. We hear that from people all the time. That's everybody's investing kind of view that wants to be in both worlds, that you would like to have them together and have them be kind of seamless, because from your perspective, they are all the assets in your personal portfolio. But the problem is, the regulations don't really let you do that once you get below the user interface level.
Right.
And, for example, we talked a lot about, did we want to have a crypto business inside of our broker-dealer? And we did a bunch of analysis, and there are pros and cons. And in the end, the con list was a lot longer than the pro list.
Right.
So that's how Fidelity Digital Assets became a completely, sort of a separate legal stack from our other businesses. And so this is where, seeing some of the regulators try to lean into this is very encouraging and exciting for us, because if they don't give us a route to make some of these connections, then it makes it really hard for us in the background to be able to make it feel seamless when it's really not. And if you think about this structure of, anything that trades on a blockchain versus anything that trades through the legacy world of settlement, I mean, there's just nothing that's the same. So
on my channel, I've been beating the drum about clarity. Clarity means institutions like Fidelity can jump into the crypto space. Regulatory clarity is going to change the game.
Yeah, so, and when you layer on, I figured this is my third crypto winter.
Yeah, you've been through a few, yeah.
So, and then when you figure on, bear markets in the securities market, I've seen plenty of ups and downs, but I see that as an opportunity, and I was kind of raised to be a contrarian thinker, and so I have this knee-jerk reaction that if you believe that the fundamentals of a long-term case are really strong, when everybody else is dipping, that's the time to double down and just dive extra hard into it. And that's usually the right moves.
Chain Protocol, which has a coin called XCN, is in partnership with Visa, Citi, NASDAQ, State Street, and Fidelity.
And so people are very programmed to find out what the rules are, understand them really well, and follow them. And if you're in the business that I'm in, that's generally a really good thing. But it makes people feel like unstable when they start moving into space where, okay, at some higher level of settling transactions and moving money and value creation, is the same, but kind of everything else is different. There's no rule framework. Things aren't really sure. It makes people feel uncomfortable, and I think there's.
The utility of the XRP ledger is moving money quickly and cheaply, and with Fidelity's global reach, there is a lot of potential for cross-border settlement. When we have regulatory clarity, good actors will benefit. Fidelity will use crypto because it's more efficient and saves money. RippleNet is integrated into FIS, one of the largest companies in the world that transfers half of the entire wealth of the world. The CEO is very excited about crypto assets, and when the regulators allow Fidelity to use digital assets, I believe they will use them extensively. Human relations are built on feelings, not on reason or knowledge, and feeling is not an exact science. Like all spiritual qualities, it has a vagueness of greatness about it. Thanks everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you enjoy content like this, please consider joining my Patreon.